Castellum CTM just filed a brand new SEC filing. And when investors saw it, many immediately started asking some of the same questions. And the main one that people were asking for the most part is none other than, does this SEC filing that they reported say they are diluting? Is this dilution? Now, if you go on the website, you're going to see here that the S8 filing that came out 2 days ago on June 1st, it's a Form S8. Now, as you do see here, it does show that they, on page 2, because the filing shows CTM registering an additional 4 million shares. And those words can sound scary, but after reading through all of the 24 pages of this report, of this filing, I actually think a lot of investors are kind of misunderstanding exactly what's actually going on, because it's not a traditional stock offering, and this is not necessarily convertible debt either. So another thing is that this is not necessarily this is not Castellum CTM raising cash from investors. So today, what I want to do with you guys is I want to break down exactly what this filing means, what it doesn't mean, and where shareholders should actually be concerned. And if you do enjoy the content, feel free to comment below, letting me know what you want to see in future upcoming videos, and feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. So Castellum CTM did have a pretty bearish day, as they had a 7.65% loss on the day, going down 6 cents, closing the day at 77 cents on the day. Currently up a little bit after hours, so we would be roughly at about 78 cents. Now, the SEC filing, I spent time going through this filing page, page by page, and honestly, when I first saw the headline about 4 million additional shares, I didn't necessarily panic like I did hear a lot of other people. The first thing I thought in my head was, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people do feel some form of panic. But before I have any type of emotional reaction to it, let me do what I enjoy doing, which is breaking down filings and any reports that come out before coming to a conclusion. So I started digging deeper, and if you do own Castellum CTM or you're considering investing in Castellum, understanding the filing is extremely important. Hey guys, it's David with InvestQ, and a lot of the research and stock discussions actually happen in my free InvestQ community before the videos even come out. I post weekly CTM updates, quantum stock coverage, daily watch lists, and fast breaking news reactions throughout the week. And if you want to stay ahead of what I'm watching in the market, feel free to join the free InvestQ community. First link in the description below. The filing is a Form S8. So in simple English, what that basically means is an S8 allows a company, to issue stock to employees, executives, directors, and consultants through compensation plans. So in other words, the filing is primarily about stock-based compensation. It's not about raising money. So where things get interesting is that the filing registers an additional 4 million shares, as it states right here, and it registers an additional 4 million shares under CTM's third amended 2021 stock incentive plan. And the plan itself allows for up to 13 million shares to be available for various stock awards. And a few to mention, if we go to page 12, guys. So a few things to mention is you got incentive stock options. You got, this just goes over a list right there, but you got stock options, restricted stock, you got restricted stock units, you got stock appreciation rights, and then you also got stock bonuses. So there's plenty of things that are listed here in page 12. You also see a little more on page 17. There's a little more right here on page 17. And then you also get some another list of all these options, of all these plans on page 18 as well. So if you're interested in looking at that, the pages to look at are page 12, 17, and 18. So there are tools companies use. What these basically are tools companies use to recruit and retain talent. But on the other hand, what I think investors need to understand is that the filing does not mean And again, I'm stating it's not saying CTM sold 4 million shares, not saying that. It's not saying that CTM raised money. It's not saying that CTM announced an at the money market offering, or an ATM for short. And it's not saying that CTM issued convertible debt. What it does mean is that CTM now has additional flexibility to compensate employees and executives using none other than using equity. And the big question is the fact that the question shouldn't be, did CTM file an essay? Because they did. The real question that investors need to be asking is, what will CTM use these shares for? Because if those shares help attract top cybersecurity talent, if it helps retain key employees, or helps support future acquisitions, then shareholders could ultimately benefit in the long run. But if stock-based compensation starts growing too aggressively, that's something that investors shouldn't monitor. And I say monitor because I'm not saying you should immediately panic. I'm just saying it's something that you should keep on your radar. Now, what caught my attention personally, if you go on page 20, you're going to see them talking about mergers and acquisitions right here. There's going to be talk about mergers and acquisitions on this page right here. And it's the mergers and acquisitions section is what I should say. And this now, one section of the filing that caught my attention was the mergers and acquisition acquisition language that was used on this page. Now, before people do get excited, because I know it's something that everybody in all of the investors communities related to Castellum CTM look at and are really hoping for to see is them completing an acquisition. This does not mean that CTM announced an acquisition, so I want to make that very clear. But it does show that the plan was built to function during mergers, acquisitions, reorganizations, and other corporate transactions. And considering Glenn Ives has openly discussed growth through acquisitions, I think that this is something absolutely worth paying attention to. And if you enjoy the content, please feel free to subscribe. And also check out my Instagram that I will be posting in the link below. But what I'm watching next personally, for me, and this is just me personally, I'm not focused on the filing itself anymore. What I'm focused on is a few key points, I would say, is mainly I'm going to be asking, can Castellum CTM continue growing APR? Can CTM continue to win large contracts? Can CTM execute and complete that accredited acquisition? Can Castellum continue building shareholder value? Because those questions and watching out for, basically, these are the things that matter the most, in my opinion. And what I would say in closing, what I would like to close out on is the fact that after reading through the filing, just trying to go back to a specific page, guys, but after reading through the filing, all 24 pages of it, my overall opinion is pretty simple when it comes to it. I view this filing as mostly a neutral news catalyst, or a neutral filing. It's not something extremely bullish or extremely bearish in either way. I would say it's neutral to slightly bullish in my opinion. And it's not because of the 4 million shares is automatically good necessarily, but because I don't see any evidence of some type of emergency fundraising or a traditional stock offering, or anything that I would quote unquote say is toxic financing, nothing major like dilution, reverse splits, anything like that. So instead, what I see is this looks like that CTM is preparing itself to recruit, retain, and incentivize people as the company grows. So that does sound like the company is doing good things. And I do like hearing and seeing that they're looking for talented individuals to join the Castellum CTM team. But what I want to hear from you personally, do you think that the filing is bullish? Do you think it's bearish? Did you personally panic when you saw the S8 filing come out? Please let me know what your thoughts are below in the comment section. And if you do enjoy this video, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button, and check out the links below to my free of charge InvestQ community. If you're interested, checking out the Prophecy AI app 7-day free trial, or my new Instagram I'm making that I will be posting consistently on. So With that being said, guys, stay safe. David with InvestQ out, and I'll see you on the next video.